I'm Hannah. I am the egg donor and genetic mother.
And I'm Jodie, and I am the birth mother. And this is Kit, who's our son.
And he's 5 months old. So we'd been having conversations about having a family for a while. We started to do some research into places that could help us, and we found the Agora. I also chatted to a couple of people that I knew that had gone to the Agora and they'd had good experiences.
It was very local to us, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was down the road, essentially, so and we'd heard very good things about it, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we gave them a call.
How did you first contact the Agora, and how did you feel coming to the clinic?
So our first conversations with Agora were online. We had a couple of consultations with the team.
Yeah.
We looked at the website, and so I think the way that I felt before that first consultation, I felt nervous, a bit apprehensive.
Yeah. Didn't know what to expect, did we?
No.
We didn't know how to begin. We were very, very new to it. We had no idea actually what it entailed. We thought it was going to be quick and easy, really. We were quite naive, weren't we?
But we were a little bit naive, nervous, also excited, I think. And I think the first time we went in, it was good. It was good. I think the first time we went in physically, because you could see where things were based.
Yeah.
You could meet more members of the team.
Everyone was lovely.
Everyone was lovely and welcoming. So yeah, I would say it was a lot of mixed feelings. I don't think we quite understood the length and the nature of the journey at the time.
No.
But yeah, it was. Yeah.
Tell us about your fertility journey and how you came to do shared motherhood.
So I think in our consultation, we didn't know there was such a thing as what's it called? It's shared motherhood.
Shared motherhood, yeah, reciprocal.
Reciprocal. Where you can. So Hannah donated her egg and I could carry. And when we had the consultation with Carol, she basically let us know that that's an option. And when she told us about it, something kind of clicked with us, didn't it?
Yeah, it just felt right. We weren't aware that was an option to do it that way. We initially just went in thinking that it would probably be one of us carrying and being genetic mother. So it just felt like this is a really lovely way of us both being able to be involved.
Did your fertility journey go as expected?
So
no. in a word, no. It was quite a long and sort of difficult journey. We had 3 cycles, didn't we?
Yeah.
2 of them didn't work out for different reasons. So it was like we had to go through the process and then start again. There was some disappointments, and obviously with all the hormones and the medication and the expectation, disappointment, everything like that, it was tricky.
Yeah, I think we didn't know what to expect though. So whether it went as expected is an interesting question, because we didn't really know what to expect. I think I didn't realise that there would be a pre-phase with 2 women around syncing your cycles before it even began, and then there were conversations about medication. So there were kind of that took a little bit of time. So yeah, there was a little bit of space between each cycle, which was a recommendation and absolutely the right thing to do mentally, to have some space between cycles as well. So yeah, I think that it was an interesting and eventful journey for us both.
Yeah.
What were some of the challenges you faced?
Some of the challenges.
So I know that my progesterone was low, so I had to have on I think our final cycle, our final go at it, I had some progesterone injections, which helped.
Yeah.
But I think also with both of us on so much medication, the hormones, it's difficult enough, isn't it? But then on top of all that, all the medication and the hormones, and having to administer.
Yeah, so we're really lucky because Jodie's a nurse,
Yeah.
so Jodie could help me with the administration of the meds and the injections, which was
Not a fan, are
really
you?
good for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
It really worked out for me. The biggest challenge for me personally was probably with the failed cycles was how do you allow the space to process the outcome and get back on board with another cycle. So the challenge was staying positive, but also you okay? Staying positive, but also the waiting. There's quite a lot of phases within a cycle where you just have to wait because things have to take their time. So that was a challenge.
It's a long process.
What do you do with yourself when you're waiting?
Yeah.
And I think that's where you just need a good solid support system.
I think for me, one of the challenges was feeling like it was my fault that it wasn't working. I think that was one of the challenges. As it was my body, I felt when it didn't work out like it was something I was doing wrong. And I think to get over that and we just communicated a lot, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I think you have to be in a very strong relationship. I think really good relationship where you can communicate all these worries and sort of work through it together.
And I think another challenge as well for me was you have to have an egg collection as part of the shared motherhood cycle. Depending on how many eggs are collected and the quality of those eggs, that's also an interesting experience for me because there was a feeling of responsibility there as well. So we both at different points felt responsible
and
worried that
something you would do wrong.
Yeah. Even though
it's not even.
We knew that wasn't the case, but emotionally you feel that way.
Yeah.
How did you go about choosing your donor?
We couldn't be too fussy, but we also wanted some attributes to be a little bit like me, I suppose.
Yeah.
You didn't want to go too far away from that.
No. I would say that the views we had on the donor shifted over the course of the cycles. So you'd have an option to either have one donor and get a number of vials right at the start.
Yeah.
Or you have the choice to get just one or two and then go back and to the kind of the sperm banks and pick again. Financially, it's also implications for whether you stagger it or get lots of vials at once. Anyway, obviously genetic wellness, genetic health and somebody being well and genetically okay was the most important factor. And obviously we wanted to feel like it was, there were resemblances and similarities to Jodie.
I mean, on the side of that, so many people have said, yeah, darling. So many people have said that Kit looks just like me, which
it's lovely.
It's so nice,
thing. Because the donor process is a little bit. It's an interesting one because you have to kind of.
It was actually one of the hardest points of it. I think we thought it was going to be easy, didn't we? But it was actually hard. It was really difficult because I think there was reduced donors because of COVID. So a lot of people hadn't donated any sperm, and so there wasn't that much choice, was there?
No, and I think as well the what you're looking for, you have to be quite quick. Anyway, you have to be quite quick when you find a donor that you both agree on. You have to be we've had to be reasonably quick.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of a lot of factors to think about. But you just when you find a donor that has the right kind of feel.
Yeah.
We moved on it and
But we've always said, haven't we? With all the difficulties and with the first donor that we used, and then we used a different donor. It was always going to be Kit.
It was always going to be Kit, yeah.
And even with the failed IVF cycles, it was always going to be Kit.
Yeah.
So we got there,
in our own time.
In our own time.
Yeah.
And it can be disappointing and upsetting, but you just have to feel that the journey will take you to kit.
The timing will be right.
Yeah.
But also I think, we're glad we went with a bank where the process was managed how it was. I don't know.
What support did you find particularly effective on your journey?
So I feel like the where we looked for support shifted again. I think a lot changed over the cycles. So initially we shared a lot about the first cycle with people around us, but when we had a disappointment, it was really hard to go back to people and talk about it. So
we got a bit overexcited, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so. So we got just a little bit more reserved and kind of decided just to take things in a bit more of a moderate way as it went on.
We were a bit cooler about it, weren't we?
Yeah, a little bit less extreme and getting excited. But primarily I would say that we went to each other and our immediate family and friends. We were offered support via Agora. Yep. We were offered some counselling, some kind of talking support, and also access to their support group. And we would have had we've had another cycle that wasn't successful. I think that would have been a thing that we'd have gone on to do in terms of linking in with people. It was just lovely, whether you're ready or not, to know it was available. Yeah. And every time that we were a bit flat when we went to Agora, we were reminded by the team, there's a group, they meet, they talk about their experiences, you're welcome. And that was lovely. Yeah.
What were the highlights of your journey?
Yeah, we were lucky actually, because a lot of the time when we came into the department, into the Agora, we had the same nurses, so we became close to a couple of them who they really saw us through the journey, the failed cycles, the good outcome that we have with Kit. They really came along the journey with us.
Yeah, the team were a highlight, definitely.
They were amazing. They were so supportive. Mister.
I think another highlight was him.
Absolutely.
The outcome, but also when you find out it's successful, and you realise you're on this journey, you're on this trajectory, you realise it was all worth it. That's a highlight. The good feelings, it makes it all worth it.
I mean, definitely the best thing we've ever done. Absolutely. This is our first born.
This is our cat.
Is he in it? Oh, she? This one?
Our firstborn, Jolene.
The cat's just jumped into the camera's view.
What advice would you give to those starting their journey to parenthood?
So for me, the advice that I would give would be pace yourself. Talk to people about how you're feeling about it. Be realistic about the time it can take, and just be ready for the full journey. Get all the information, have conversations with the team about what's to come, so you go in informed. So you kind of have a realistic sense of the journey. And I would say this though, because our outcome was Kit, but I would say stay with it, stay hopeful.
Can be a bit of a long game.
But I know that that's different for everybody.
Yeah.
And holding on to hope can be difficult, and circumstances are always difficult. The other thing that I would say is that Agora were really good when we did have an unsuccessful attempt at meeting with us and thinking, right, what happened, what can we do to it? So one of the things that we did, do you remember after our first failed cycle, is we were recommended, I think it was an incubator.
Yeah.
That's probably not the right word, for the blastocysts to be in, so that they have a regulated temperature, so they're not
disturbed with so much
when we're looking for them to fertilise. So it was the eggs, not the blasts.
Yeah.
So
and also
there were just little amendments and tweaks to the process that made us think, okay, so maybe this tweak could help. And also the
progesterone.
The supplements.
Yes.
The supplements.
Yes.
So there were things that were introduced that just each time made us feel fresh and hopeful.
And just ask questions. Ask questions. Get as much information as you can. Stay hopeful. Yeah. Stay with it if you can. if it's not successful the first time, second time.
But also listen to your body, because whatever you decide is what you decide to do. But the team, I think, will assist in that, and whether or not, what the options are for you.
How did you decide roles for reciprocal parenthood?
Well, the decision was made really for, we went with Hannah's eggs because she's a little bit younger than I, and we were told that we wanted the best opportunity for it to work, didn't we?
Yeah.
And although a lot of people would always assume maybe you would carry.
So in terms of our roles, I think it was assumed that I would carry. That's maybe how we're perceived in our particular relationship.
Yeah.
But given the fact that I'm that little bit younger, we wanted to increase the chances of a successful outcome. And I think we had lots of conversations about bonding and wanting to make sure that we both felt this way gave us both the opportunity to be part of it and feel like we were building a relation, bonded. But I know that one of the questions that we've been asked has been a little bit about, I think to you, around as birth mother but not genetic mother, do you feel as bonded to Kit?
I mean, there's no doubt about it. Being birth mother was wonderful, and there is no doubt that if I use my own egg and birth with my own egg, I would feel no different as if I had your egg.
Yeah.
In fact, I love that I carried your egg. I loved, because I'm so in love with you, doing that was just one of the best experiences. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I felt extremely bonded. I think going through the process of pregnancy and then giving birth was such a magical thing. I feel extremely bonded with him.
And there's been a very strong bond since birth as well, in terms of having been the birth parent and the connection. So I just would say to same-sex couples that were thinking about going down this route, there is no reason why, as long as you communicate, that you can't have an equal and special bond with your baby, as long as you both feel comfortable with the choice that you make. But it hasn't, for us, it hasn't made any difference to our connectedness today.
No, we're very lucky. We're very lucky. We could do it this way. What a magical experience for both of us.
Yeah.
How will you prepare Kit about his donor origin?
One of the things that we had to think about before embarking on this journey was the use of a donor and conversations in the future. So in UK law, when you use a donor, there is a right to ID reveal at 18 years old. When the baby turns 18, they're able to trace the biological donor. So you have to go in, I think, having had a conversation as a couple about how that would feel for you both. And for us, the only way really to do this would be to support Kit and anything he wishes to do in his future. So if Kit wants to talk to us about the journey that he's had, we're going to think a little bit about resources and putting together his early story. Agora has said also that he'd be able to visit, and he'll know a lot. We're going to try and be transparent about the journey.
Very transparent,
And if in the future he came to us and said, this interests me, I'd like to know about my heritage, obviously we are his family, then we feel it's important personally to support him with whatever he wants to do, and that may or may not be something that he feels is particularly important, but we would always be open and never close to that, because we want him to feel like he can have any conversations with us and we'll support it.
And there are groups, there's Rainbow Families in Brighton who offer support if they ask difficult questions when they're getting older. They help, they can help and support you answer those. Ways
to have those sensitive conversations so that
he knows, he's fully...
He can ask whatever he wants and we'll do our best to answer all his questions.
Is there anything you want to tell the Agora team?
Gosh.
So much actually.
We wouldn't be sat here as our little family, our little unit, if it weren't for Agora. Kit would just not be here. So we thank everybody from the bottom of our hearts for their support.
And he's actually saying thank you. This is him.
For their support and for their kindness and empathy
Yeah.
and advice. And
I mean, what a
and
journey to come on
afterwards-
with us. Yeah.
afterwards
yeah.
though, also it's
Yeah.
not just, it's been lovely because we've stayed in touch and we've been
Baby and
invited to
Bumps unit,
Baby
yeah.
and Bumps, so we actually are still connected. It's really nice, and it's nice for him, I think, as well, maybe in the future, to know a little bit about his journey.
I mean, they'll be seeing him more, won't they? And
Yeah.
I think we'll just be keeping in touch with everybody there. And
And thank you for tolerating me in the blood tests. Because
not a fan, are you?
that
Many a time have you nearly fainted.
that required some endurance to keep me okay. There was a lot of kind of compassion and time for you if you're a
And
little
humour.
bit squeamish.
A bit of humour is all, you know. They were just lovely, and thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank
Thank
you,
you,
everybody.
because we have our family, and wouldn't have had without you guys.
There we go.